Hello and welcome to the Evercade Retreat. Gene Joke here, and today I'm adding Mappy to my ever-growing list where I rank every Evercade game ever. Yeah, that flowed, didn't it? Mappy is the NES port of the arcade game, developed by Namco in both cases, and can be found on the Namco Collection 1 for the Evercade, which is a legacy cart, so not the easiest one to get hold of these days. Anyway, Mappy was originally released in arcades in 1983 and was later ported to the NES. I'm not sure exactly when, and doesn't matter. The point is, it was ported a few years later, so it wasn't much of a stretch for the NES to do a fairly arcade accurate conversion. But of course there are differences. The aspect ratio is different. In the arcade it had more of a Tate vertical whatever aspect ratio, and the NES kind of made up the whole TV screen. But beyond that I can't really comment. I've never played the arcade original, so yeah, looking at video footage they look pretty similar. Now, for my own history with Mappy, I've never played it before getting an Evercade. The name didn't even mean a thing to me, so no nostalgia here. Well, not exactly. I did play a game on the Spectrum called Crime Busters, which was basically a Mappy ripoff, and I had a lot of fun with that. I liked the core gameplay, and although it wasn't identical to Mappy's, it's close enough that when I played Mappy I knew exactly what I was doing and how things were working. So I suppose I should go into the mechanics of Mappy. You control Mappy, a police mouse, who is trying to steal back items from some cat burglars, who are literal cats. Or maybe you're trying to steal them before the cat burglars steal them, whatever. You're invading the house too. So each level is a house or a mansion. There are a bunch of items to collect, and they're in pairs. Getting them in pairs gets you a better score bonus, but the cat burglars running around can make that problematic. There's platforms to run on. You don't jump, you just fall off edges and bounce off of trampolines. There's also doors to contend with, which can slow you down, but can also cause a I suppose like a sonic boom, which will blast forward and essentially take enemies out of play for a short time. There are also some bells, which in some cases you can drop on enemies' heads. There's a few other hazards that pop up in later levels as well, but the basic gameplay is pretty straightforward. Run around, bounce on trampolines, avoid enemies, steal goods before the enemies get to them, get them all, and you win the level. There are also bonus levels which follow the trampoline mechanic, and they're on a time limit where you have to collect all the items and get to the exit balloon thing before the music timer counts down. It's very straightforward early arcade stuff, but there's enough complexity to the mechanics and the navigating of the levels, or the mazes of the levels, that it keeps it fun. This isn't a game you play to complete, because as far as I know it just loops endlessly, but playing it single credit, seeing if I can trying to improve your score. That's how the game is designed and how it works best and is your most fun. It is simple arcade fun, nothing more, nothing less. Obviously not the biggest, most famous of Namco's titles, clearly overshadowed by things like Pac-Man, even Galaxian and Galaga, or at least in the West I suppose, because like I said, I'd never even heard of it before getting an Evercade, but maybe that's just me having missed out on this delightful little game back in the day. So breaking it down, on the graphics front, things are functional. It's an earlier arcade game ported to the NES. It's no graphical showcase, it does the job. Nothing to complain about, but also nothing to write home about either. The audio, well, sound effects are quite minimal, but they do exactly what they need to do here. The music, there's not much in the way of music, but the tune is quite jolly. It can get a little bit grating after a while if you're playing for long enough, but for shorter doses, which I think most people will be dealing with, it's absolutely fine. Really, it only started to irritate me when I was trying to see if the game could be beaten, and I was playing it using save states to try and loop the game and loop it and see if there was an eventual end. There wasn't, or I got bored before I reached it anyway. So yeah, music probably not really much of an issue. It's fine. All in all, it is a fairly straightforward, simple arcade action platformer collecty thing, and if you like these sorts of games, you're going to like this one. It's pretty much as simple as that. If you're not a fan of these games, this one probably won't change your mind. To place it in my overall ranking list, where I rank every Evercade game ever, I'm putting it above Bridge Strike, but below Ronnie's Tale. And I'd say it earns this position by being a quite replayable, fun game that I always enjoy coming back to. But there are other similar games which I've ranked a little bit higher, which I'm more likely to come back to. Still, it's an absolutely solid little game. Anyway, that's it for this video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.